The next part of the discussion is about appearance of the newborn. So we tackle the newborn characteristics, physical assessment from head to toe. First is assessing the skin. So we consider the color of the skin, birthmarks, vernix caseosa, erythema toxicum, forceps marks, skin turgor, lanugo, desquamation, and milia. So when we check the color of the skin, normally it should be pinkish. But cyanosis, no, first, is a bluish discoloration of the skin, which means there is already insufficient oxygen supply going out through the system. Ngayon, there is such a thing called as acrocyanosis. Acrocyanosis is considered normal, and acrocyanosis is described as a pink body and blue extremities. Normal ito for the first few hours after birth kasi as the lungs function for the first time, meron pang immature circulation at huling-huli niyang madidistributan ng oxygenated blood yung pinakamalalayong parts ng katawan. Hence, acrocyanosis may be normal for the first few hours of life. Now, with hyperbilirubinemia or jaundice or yellow color of the skin, this is considered normal or physiologic if it happened 24 hours after birth. Pag ang jaundice is pathologic jaundice, which means nanilaw yung baby within 24 hours after birth, may problem doon sa blood circulation or maybe a blood dyscrasia. Now, bakit ang mga newborns ay may risk for physiologic jaundice? It's because the heme breaks into iron and protoporphyrin. Ang RBC nagbe-break down. Adult RBC contains 2 alpha and 2 beta chains, while fetal RBCs or the fetal RBCs contain 2 alpha and 2 gamma chains. Ang fetal RBC ay iba, mas mabilis ang buhay kaysa sa adult RBC, which is normally 120 days. But because of a faster fetal RBC life na halos 90 days lang, mas mabilis ang breakdown ng heme, which is an important component ng hemoglobin na part ng RBC. When heme breaks into iron and protoporphyrin, iron is reused, while protoporphyrin breaks into indirect or unconjugated bilirubin. Ito ay fat-soluble and cannot be excreted by the kidneys. So, dapat maging direct or conjugated bilirubin siya with the action of the liver enzyme glucuronil transferase. Now, because newborns have an immature glucuronil transferase, no, posible na hindi ma-match nung enough liver enzyme yung mas mabilis na pag-breakdown ng hemoglobin nila. Kaya posibleng magkaroon ng physiologic jaundice. Ngayon, mas madalas na magkaroon ng physiologic jaundice yung mga baby na magkaiba ang blood type dun sa mother nila. Dahil mas marami yung mga anti na blood types, kaya mas mabilis ang pag-breakdown ng kanilang RBC. Now, if there is physiologic jaundice, importante na sila ay napoprovidean ng phototherapy. This is an example of a fluorescent light, a Billy light, or a phototherapy light for children with jaundice. Please take note that the baby is exposed, nakakover lang yung eyes because direct light exposure can damage retina, nakakover din ng genitalia, especially kung lalaki, because pag masyadong nainitan ang genitalia, it can cause increase destruction or infertility problems in the future. Now, bakit pwede nating i-consider ang phototherapy? Because light, no, will allow faster development or na po-provide yung mas mabilis na pagbibigay ng liver enzyme ng glucuronil transferase. Ngayon, to prevent jaundice, pwede natin i-encourage yung mothers na paarawan yung mga baby early morning sun. Why? Because sunlight activates glucuronil transferase para sila ay hindi masyadong maninilaw or hindi maninilaw. Ngayon, kung may jaundice na, kailangan kasi continuous yung exposure nila sa light. Kaya kailangan 24 hours continuous din yung phototherapy. Now, sa babies na mga naka-phototherapy, always check the temperature also because mainit ito, so baka magkaroon ng insensible water losses and can cause dehydration to the baby. Importanteng chine-check yung bilirubin levels. Normally, ang bilirubin levels, kapag umabot na siya ng 8 to 12 milligrams per deciliter of blood, ibig sabihin, kailangan na ng phototherapy. No? Ngayon, if more than that, delikado, lalo na pag umabot ng 20 milligrams per deciliter yung bilirubin sa blood, it is toxic to the brain and can cause kernicterus. So, ang kernicterus, magkakaroon ng damage doon sa brain or nervous system function ng baby. That's why we have to monitor or check jaundice among newborns. Another is pallor or being pale. So, ang pallor, maputla yung baby, baka meron siyang kakulangan ng blood or anemic or maybe because of bleeding or hemorrhage. So, check, dapat pinkish yung baby. This is a sign na may maayos na circulation or blood flow to the cells or to the body parts or the systemic circulation. Another is yung Harlequin sign. In the photo, you will see that the right side of the baby is pale and the left side of the baby's face is pinkish. Ang baby na ito ay nagmanifest ng Harlequin sign at galing siya sa left side lying position. From a left side lying position, nandoon lahat napunta yung blood flow niya. Ito ay normal sa mga newborns because of, again, meron pang immature circulation or blood flow. But this will be resolved in a matter of days. Birthmarks. Hemangiomas and Mongolian spots are birthmarks. Ang mga hemangioma may tatlong klase. One is nevus flammeus. In the photo, you will see na macular lesion lang siya at the level of the skin. Nevus flammeus can be purple or dark in color, and this may or may not fade. Okay? Pangalawa is yung strawberry hemangioma. In the photo, you can see nakaangat siya. Ang characteristic niya, there are elevated areas of immature capillaries and endothelial cells. Ang strawberry hemangioma ay nag-fade usually before the age of 10. Ang pinakadelikado sa lahat ay ang cavernous hemangioma. Cavernous hemangiomas are dilated vascular spaces. They do not disappear. In fact, kailangan minsan surgically removed because it can cause internal bleeding dahil malalim yung pinanggalingan niya. sometimes even beyond the dermis. Third are Mongolian spots. Ang Mongolian spots are extra pigmentation found usually in the buttocks. Mas common ito sa mga Asians and usually nag-fade by the preschool to the school age period. Ang dahilan nito ay extra pigmentation coming from utero. Vernix caseosa is a cream, cheese-like substance in the skin. Initially, ang purpose niya is for easy passage of baby going outside the birth canal kasi madulas siya. Before, ang vernix ay win-wipe off lahat, but now, EINC recommends na hindi siya i-wipe off because it helps in thermoregulating the baby. Next is erythema toxicum or what we call the newborn rash. Ang newborn rash ay maaaring makita sa baby within the first few days after birth because ito yung na-expose na yung kanyang very sensitive skin sa outside world such as yung air, yung kumot, yung unan, yung higaan. No? Kailangan mawawala at mariresolve din ang newborn rash in a matter of days as the baby adopts doon sa extra uterine life. Pero pag nagtuloy-tuloy, ang erythema, pamumula, pamamaga, pamamanas, at paglaki ng mga pantal, kailangan agad siyang ipacheck. Forceps marks, no, especially kung nahirapan sa vaginal delivery, at gumamit ng forceps, magkakaroon ng mga pasa yung baby usually sa muka. This should fade in a matter of days after birth. Next is skin turgor. It's important to check the baby's skin turgor by pinching the skin. Slowly, dapat it will go down. If the baby's skin turgor is poor, no, so baka merong mga signs or dehydration si baby. And also, kailangang ma-check kung enough ba yung nutrition na natatanggap niya. Lanugo is fine downy hair. Madalas itong nakikita sa preterm. Lanugo is a sign of maturity. All full-term babies or newborns dapat hindi makikitaan ng lanugo. Next is desquamation. Ang desquamation, no, nagbabakbak yung balat, maaaring sa kamay, paa, muka, or tenga. Ang desquamation, compared to lanugo, no, as a sign of prematurity, desquamation is a sign of post-maturity. Why? Because, as mentioned before, ang placenta is a very good moisturizer. Nagmo-moisturize ng skin. At kapag ang baby ay lumagpas ng 40 weeks AOG, yung placenta, lumalagpas din yung effectivity niya because the placenta is timed to effectively last until 40th week. So, isa doon yung moisturizing abilities niya, nagda-dry yung skin ng baby, kaya nagkakaroon ng desquamation. That's why it's a sign of post-maturity. Next is milia. Milia are unopened sebaceous glands. So, ito, para siyang may mga whiteheads, mawawala din ito in a matter of months. Okay? Next is the head. In the head, we will see that there is possibly molding. So, yung molding, because of the force of uterine contractions hanggang sa bumababa yung baby down the pelvic canal, nagiging kamukha niya yung shape ng pelvic bone na dinadaanan niya. Ang molding, babalik sa dati o mariresolve within 24 hours after birth. Pero, may mga pagkakataon na sobrang haba, no? Nagkakaroon ng either caput succedaneum or cephalhematoma. Ang caput succedaneum and cephalhematoma, no, meron silang mga differences. Ang caput succedaneum is edema of the scalp, while cephalhematoma is collection of blood under the periosteum of the skull. So una, ang caput succedaneum may pamamaga, pantay, it crosses the suture lines. So, kanan at kaliwang side ng ulo ng baby humahaba. Pero ang cephalhematoma, it does not cross the suture line. So, kung mapapansin nyo sa photo, isang side lang ng baby yung parang may bukol. Second, they both resolve. Caput succedaneum may resolve in a matter of days, pero mas matagal ang cephalhematoma. Because it's a collection of blood under the skull, it may last up to several weeks. Next, yung fontanelles. So, we check the fontanelles of the baby, anterior fontanelle and posterior fontanelle. So, sa anterior fontanelle, in the photo, no, we will see na ang anterior fontanelle ay diamond shape and the posterior fontanelle is triangle in shape. Okay, it should close, no, the same with the sutures. In the photo, you will see coronal suture, the sagittal suture here, and the lambdoid suture there. Suture lines allow overlapping of the bone skull, of the parietal, of the occipital, and the frontal bones. When the bones overlap, the fetal head tends to be smaller. At kapag smaller siya, better for or more effective or easier ang vaginal birth. Okay? When you check the fontanelle, no, nagsasarado anterior, posterior, respectively, 18 weeks versus 18 months. Okay? Ang fontanelle, it's an important way to check, no, yung fontanelle ng baby kapag merong signs of increased ICP or dehydration. Kapag increased ICP, fontanelles tend to bulge. With dehydration, sunken ang fontanelles. So, ang dapat na description natin normally ng fontanelle, kung hindi pa siya sarado, it's a soft spot on those areas of the skull. Okay? Cranial tabes is localized softening of the cranial bones. So, dahil nga sa effect ng labor and hormones, malambot, may kaunting paglambot ng cranial bones. That's why even the suture lines overlap or the skull bones overlap because of the suture lines. So, mawawala din yan in a matter of days or weeks. Eyes. Newborns cry tearlessly. So, ang baby, pag umiiyak at may luha, wala pa yon hanggang 2 months because newborns produce tears by the 2nd month. If there are secretions in the eyes less than 2 months, you have to check baka merong infection or inflammation or baka yun yung eye ointment na naibigay sa kanila before. Irises may be color gray or blue, and in a supine position, lifting the head will open the newborn's eyes. Ito yung parang doll's eyes, no? Maaring meron silang subconjunctival hemorrhage, especially kapag may pressure during vaginal birth. Also, maaaring meron ding edema until the 3rd day. The cornea is, of course, round and proportionate na yung size niya to that of an adult. The ears, the pinna or the auricle bends easily. Importante na when you bend the pinna, bumabalik siya agad, goes back to its original position. Because if the pinna remains folded when you bend it, it's a sign of prematurity. Dapat din ang ears normoset. When you say normoset, yung outer canthus of the eye aligned siya with the upper ear or the tip of the ears, superior part. There are babies with low-set ears and usually associated with congenital problems or disorders such as Down syndrome. Also, visualizing the tympanic membrane may be difficult and generally not attempted. So, umiiyak sila, they fear there is fear of mutilation. Important then to test the hearing. Usually, you ring a bell about 6 inches from each ear. Hindi naman kailangang mahanap ng baby yung bell na nagri-ring. Basta pag narinig niya yung bell, may movement yung face niya or even the eyes as if the baby is looking for something, therefore that baby can hear. Okay? Next is the nose. The nose may appear large for the females. Again, milia may be present. Normal ito. An open sebaceous glands mawawala din. Importante, sa nose, we test for choanal atresia. Ang choanal atresia, sarado ang posterior nares, which means ang baby, kung bilateral, mapapansin na siya ay humihinga sa bibig. Babies are nose breathers. When you say nose breathers, yung instinct nila is just to use the nose for breathing. Unlike an adults. Ang adults, pag nahihirapang huminga, they have the instinct to open the mouth to breathe. But newborns are not like that. No? Because they are nose breathers, nararamdaman mo o nakikita mo sa kanila na may signs agad ng respiratory distress kung merong nasal flaring. Ngayon, sa choanal atresia, you can test it, of course, by closing one nostril, feel for air entry, and then do it on the other nose using your fingers. Pwede rin naman na mag-insert ng nasogastric tube. Of course, pag hindi naging successful yung insertion ng NGT or nasogastric tube, there could be choanal atresia. Maaaring may nakabara na membrane or buto, and sometimes kailangan siyang i-pierce or surgically remove. Depende doon sa obstruction. Kasi mag-i-impede ito ng normal breathing, and aside from that, affected din ang feeding or breastfeeding ni baby. Mouth. Newborn's mouth opens evenly when the baby cries. Walang babing umiiyak, walang newborn na umiiyak na hindi nakabukas ang bibig. It's automatic. The tongue would appear large and maaari kang makakita ng prominent intact or yung tinatawag na Epstein's pearls. So, may mga puti-puti doon sa tongue or sa palat na parang maliliit na perlas. No? These are Epstein's pearls, which indicate an extra load of calcium while in utero. Mawawala din siya. All newborns also have some mucus in their mouth. But if the mucus is so excessive, it may impede airway. That is when we can do suctioning. Okay, but again, suctioning is not routine. Kung magsa-suction man, always suction first the mouth before the nose. Bakit? Because babies are nose breathers. So if you put something in the nose, automatically, you initially obstruct the airway. Pangalawa, when we suction, we should not exceed more than 15 seconds. Kasi nga, parang pagkuha ng rectal thermometer, suctioning can also stimulate vagus nerve. Kung marami pang secretion, uulitin na lang siya. Pero only for a duration of not more than 10 to 15 seconds. It's unusual to have teeth in the mouth. But sometimes, maaaring may mga baby na pinanganak, meron ng prenatal teeth. No? Ang tawag doon, natal teeth. Pero still, ito ay milk teeth, no? Not permanent teeth. And by 7 years old, doon tumutubo yung permanent teeth until usually adolescent or 21, 22 years old hanggang makompleto ang 32 set ng teeth. First, normally, the first tooth erupts 6 months. and then 1 tooth every month thereafter. Neck, a newborn's neck is normally short, chubby, with skin folds. The head should rotate freely. Dito, kailangang i-check na dapat ang baby ay walang matigas or stiff neck. First indication kung may stiff neck ang baby ay baka meron siyang congenital torticollis. Ito yung damaged sternocleidomastoid muscle. Kaya para siyang may rigid neck or stiff neck na maaaring na-damage during birth. Pangalawa, baka merong meningitis. One of the signs of meningeal irritation is nuchal rigidity. So the head should rotate freely. Second, the neck of newborns are not that strong enough to support the total weight of the head, especially newborns. But among older infants, dapat strong na siya. Although in the newborns, neck is not strong enough to support weight of head, dapat walang total head lag. Okay? Next are the chests. Sometimes breasts may be engorged at maaaring may witch milk. Yung witch milk, maaaring may lumalabas na parang tubig sa kanilang breasts. So, syempre, hindi yun colostrum. Pero, yun lang ay dahil sa estrogen coming also from the mother. Mawawala din siya initially. The chest should be symmetric. Breath sounds may reveal rhonchi. Ano yung rhonchi? Yun yung sound ng airway na may secretion or may fluid. Ano kaya yung rhonchi? Yun yung unti-unti na amniotic fluid na inaabsorb ng lungs ni baby. Kaya nga, yung baby, pagkapanganak, within the first few hours, might have irregular respiration. Kasi unti-unti pang nag-absorb yung alveoli doon sa amniotic fluid na normal na nasa lungs niya during intrauterine life. That's okay because a newborn's alveoli is designed to absorb that, not meconium. Ibang usapan pag meconium kasi ang meconium ay hindi normally ine-expel dapat intrauterine life. We've learned about that before. It's a different scenario. It's already a complication or a high risk condition. Okay? Next are the abdomen. Slightly protuberant ang kanilang abdomen. The bowel sounds must be heard within an hour after birth. Importante ang meticulous cord care, but hindi na tayo naglalagay ng any substance on the cord. Just make sure that the cord is always dry, clean, walang amoy, hindi dumudugo. The cord will normally fall off within a week. Important then to palpate, of course, for internal organs. Next is the genital area. The male, the female, and the anus. So sa male genitalia, the scrotum is edematous or jated. Both testes must be present. When you check the testes, kailangan descended siya. Undescended testes may indicate cryptorchidism at indication nito ay maaaring surgery and might cause infertility or sterility problems dun sa baby pag lumaki siya. Also check, baka ma-elicit ang cremasteric reflex. Ang cremasteric reflex, when you check the testes and you stimulate the inner part of the thigh of the male baby or newborn, maaaring mag-ascend yung testes nila. Also examine the penis and prepuce. Kailangan yung opening ng penis should be in the correct position. No hypospadias, no epispadias. Pag epispadias, nasa ventral part ng penis, yung opening ng urethra. Kapag naman hypospadias, nasa dorsal part ng penis, yung urethral opening. Female genitalia, the vulva is swollen, and sometimes you can also see that there is mucus in the vaginal secretions. So that's normal, expected. Again, coming from the mother's hormones, it will resolve, mawawala din siya in a matter of days. For the anus, it's important to check that there is no imperforate anus and there is no intestinal obstruction. Initially, the easiest way to check this is through the insertion of a rectal thermometer. Obviously, kapag may imperforate anus, hindi maipapasok yung rectal thermometer. Kung meron namang intestinal obstruction, maipapasok mo yung rectal thermometer pero bigla siyang forcefully expel outside o palabas. Both can be checked using that, but then again, even though accurate ang rectal thermometer, pwede rin nga itong mag-elicit ng vagal stimulation. The back, the spine appears flat. Important to check the skin to be certain there is no pinpoint openings here along the spinal cord area. No? So, you can use a pen light to check kung may maliliit na butas dito sa spinal cord area. Dahil merong mga cases na ang baby ay nagsasuffer ng tinatawag na dermal sinus. Meron palang maliit na butas dito at yung butas na yon ay hindi natin alam kung hanggang saan. It could be an opening from the skin up to the vertebral column and then meninges or pinakadelikado hanggang spinal cord. Hanggang sa yung baby magde-develop na lang eventually ng meningitis. Also, initially, a newborn normally assumes the position in uterus. So, nakabend, no? Parang letter C, the fetal position. That's initially how a baby looks like. The extremities, arms, and legs appear short. The hands are clenched into fists. We check also the upper extremity muscle tone. How do we do that? Una, i-unflex mo yung arms for about 5 seconds. So, i-extend mo siya. And then, bibitawan. Dapat babalik siya dun sa pagkaka-flex. The legs are bowed and short. It can also be flexed and abducted to an extent that they can touch nearly the surface of the bed. Now, this is important when checking for well-being. We get the Apgar score and the maturity score of a baby. Okay, si Apgar score is this one. Apgar is an acronym pero galing din siya kay Virginia Apgar who developed the Apgar score noong 1952. Okay? Apgar acronym stands for A, appearance, which is also the skin color of body and extremities. P for pulse or the heart rate. G for grimace or reflex irritability. A for activity or muscle tone. And R for respiration or crying. So appearance, skin, pulse, grimace or reflex irritability, activity or muscle tone, and respiration. Bawat isang criteria ay merong 2 points, 1 point, or 0. Now, how do you do that? So, for appearance or skin color muna, so here, you give a grade of 2 if the child's body is pink all over. You give a grade of 1 if the extremities are blue but the body is pink. This is acrocyanosis and may be expected or normal because of immature circulation the first few hours of birth. You give a grade of 0 if the baby is pale or blue all over. Second is letter P, the pulse or the heart rate. You give a grade of 2 if the heart rate is more than 100. Bakit more than 100 lang? Ang normal heart rate ay 120 to 160. Again, because initially, during the first few hours of life, may a mature circulation and the presence of 100 heart rate while taking the Apgar score is accepted. You give a grade of 1 if less than 100. Basta may heart rate. Pero less than 100. You give a grade of 0 if there is no heart rate. Next, letter G, grimace or reflex irritability. Initially, you check grimace or reflex irritability with the way the baby cries. If the baby cries actively or pulls away pag na-stimulate, gumagalaw pag na-stimulate, no, it's a grade of 2. You give a grade of 1 if there is weak cry when stimulated and the baby grimaces. And you give a grade of 0 kung absent o walang reaction, walang reflex yung baby. The second A is activity or muscle tone. Sa activity or muscle tone, you give a grade of 2 if all extremities are spontaneously moving. Also, if all extremities are flexed. You can give a grade of 1 if there is limited movement of extremities or some extremities are flexed, some are extended. You give a grade of 0 kung absent, limp, flaccid, parang nakalupaypay, no, yung kanyang mga muscles. And lastly, yung R is respiration or breathing. You can also assess respiration or breathing through cry, which means if there is no data given, magkapareho yung score mo for breathing and reflexes. Dahil pareho mong i-assess yung cry. So, a grade of 2 in respiration is a strong cry. But if there are data which says breathing well, may okay ang respiration niya, or mismong nabilang yung RR, which is 30 to 60, that's a score of 2. 1, kung may irregular respiration or weak cry. And 0, if there is no breathing or no respiratory effort. If you add all of this, the perfect score is 10. Okay, which means that may interpretation siya. A score of 8 to 10 is a normal and a good Apgar score, which means the baby is in a good and healthy condition. A score of 5 to 7 means that the baby is moderately depressed. Baka may mild to moderate respiratory depression. Sa mga cases na ito, the baby should be intervened right away. Kailangan ba nila ng suctioning? Kailangan ba nila ng oxygen? Kailangan ba nila ng IV fluid? Kailangan ba nila ng medications? They need intensive monitoring. While a score of less than 5 or 0 to 4, which means the baby is severely depressed. A score of less than 5 means the baby needs immediate resuscitation or kailangan agad ng CPR. Ngayon, tuwing kailan kinukuha ang Apgar score? Normally, Apgar score is done twice. First minute of life and 5th minute of life. So, dalawa ang makikita mong Apgar score, which is sometimes seen as AS. No? As in A, tapos S sa chart. Tapos makikita mo open, close parenthesis, may dalawang number na separated by a comma. So, yung unang number, that's the first minute Apgar score. Yung second number, that's the 5th minute Apgar score. Ngayon, yung first minute Apgar score will tell you how well this baby adapt to extrauterine life soon after birth. Yung 5th minute Apgar score will tell you the prognosis of the baby. Kakayanin ba niya yung buhay sa extrauterine life? May pagkakataon na may makikita ka na third Apgar score. So, 3 number na yung nasa loob ng parenthesis after AS, which means ito yung 10th minute Apgar score na madalas kukunin if the first and the 5th minute is not good. Okay? Pero in other cases, hanggang 3 lang siya, but normally 2 Apgar scores. Okay? Ngayon, kung mapapansin ninyo, first and 5th minute ito. Pero bakit wala siya doon sa immediate or essential steps sa newborn care or the core steps of essential newborn care? Because Apgar score can be seen with keen observation. If you are already a practiced neonatal nurse, hindi mo na kailangan na kumuha ng oras just to check the steps of the Apgar initially. Madali mo siyang makukuha first and 5th minute. Okay, so it will tell you how well this baby adapted to extrauterine life. Okay? Next, this next photo is the Ballard scoring system or the Ballard score. Okay? Ang Ballard scoring system is a scoring system that checks 2 criteria. The first, this one is physical maturity. The second is neuromuscular maturity. So sa physical maturity, merong score, nasa taas yung scores. Sa neuromuscular maturity, may scores din. Okay? Now, for the physical maturity, you check the skin. And then, ano yung description? You have just to check anong score. Check for lanugo, anong score. Plantar creases, anong score. The breast nodule, ano yung score. Ear cartilage, ano yung score. And then genitalia, male and female, ano yung score. So, sa physical characteristics, kailangan mong ma-check itong mga to, and then yung description niya, may kanya-kanyang score, which is either, as mentioned here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? Now, kamukha nung nabanggit ko kaninang lanugo, it's a sign of prematurity. So, may score yan. Yung skin, pag marami ng mga bakbak, desquamation, it's a sign of post-maturity. So, may score yan. Okay? Yung ear cartilage, kung nung binend mo siya, mabagal bago magbalik o yung nag-remain folded, may score din siya. It's also a sign of prematurity. So, physical characteristics yan. The other graph shows neuromuscular characteristics. Ito, you will just see the photo. May picture pa rin. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first one is the popliteal angle. So, i-check mo, it's the posture. So, you have to check how does the baby look like. If all extremities are flexed, very good score. So, parang frog, no? It's a grade of 4. So, pag limp, flaccid, o diretso, walang flex, no, it's a poor score. Square window. Ang square window, yan yung sa wrist. So, igaganyan mo yung fingers ng, yung wrists ng baby, and then, i-check mo, no, kung ano yung kanyang score. Arm recoil. So, ang arm recoil, you have to unflex the arms, bitawan, at pag binitawan mo, dapat spring na magre-recoil. Nung binitawan mo siya, ano naging itsura? So, you just have to look at how is the arm recoil and get the score. Popliteal angle, yung feet, no, i-fold mo siya. And ideally, hindi dapat aabot yung paa doon sa tenga. Okay? So, meron siyang limit. So you just look at the picture again and then get the score. Scarf sign, sa scarf sign, yung arms, no? The one arm you put on the opposite shoulder. Okay? Normally, hindi dapat talaga o mahirap siyang maabot. But again, may mga signs na pag hindi normal, these are signs also of prematurity or post-maturity. At ganun din yung heel to ear. Okay? Allow me to correct, no? Heel to ear is yung paa na iaabot mo hanggang tenga. Popliteal angle is the angle when you check the popliteal area, no, of the baby. Okay, so ganun ulit, you get the score. Ngayon, ilang criteria yan? So, sa physical, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 criteria. Sa neuromuscular, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 criteria also. So, lahat ng scores, you will add. Okay, when you add the scores, you will see here the score range. And each score range has corresponding weeks in AOG. So, kung halimbawa ang score ko ay 40 points, yung 40 points is equivalent to 40 weeks AOG. Ibig sabihin, by using the Ballard scoring system or the physical and neuromuscular criteria, na-assess ko yung newborn na siya ay approximately 40 weeks AOG. In this case, maaari siyang iba doon sa AOG based on LMP. Remember, we can measure the AOG based on LMP. That's first. We can also measure the AOG based on ultrasound. That's second. But third, we can measure AOG by PA. PA means pediatric aging. Ito yon. Ginamit mo yung Ballard scoring system. Maraming scoring system for maturity tests, but Ballard's is widely used around the world. So again, una, mineasure mo using anong edad ng baby ngayong pinanganak siya based on a LMP ni mommy. Si mommy yon. No? So hindi siya ganun ka-accurate. Pangalawa, pwede mong chinek yung age ng AOG niya based on ultrasound kasi manganak na siya. Mas accurate yon than the LMP, pero si baby nasa loob ng uterus ni mommy nung chinek mo ng ultrasound. Pero yung third, nung chinek mo yung AOG ni baby nung pinanganak, si baby mismo ang chinek mo. Using pediatric aging, using this one, that's the most accurate one. Maaring may pagkakaiba-iba, pero hindi dapat malayo yung pagkakaiba-iba nila. Halimbawa, 33 weeks for over 7 days sa LMP, pero dito, 33 weeks eksakto. No? Anyway, wala naman ditong days. Okay? Kung sa ultrasound naman, 34 weeks. So, dapat maliliit lang yung differences nila. Otherwise, may mali siguro dun sa isa, dun sa mga assessment na ginawa. Okay? So, for example, 1 minute after birth, your newborn patient is actively crying in response to your bulb syringe. Bulb syringe is when you suction. His body is pink and he is moving his extremities, which are blue. Heart rate is 110. What is the newborn's APGAR score? So, let's follow the APGAR. A for appearance or color. Sabi dyan, pink body, blue extremities. So, anong score? 1. Next, ano yung P? Pulse. 110. So, what is the score? 2. Next, grimace or reflex irritability. Actively crying. So, anong score? 2. Next, activity or muscle tone, nakalagay moving his extremities. So, anong score? 2. And lastly, R, actively crying. Pareho sila ng assessment findings sa Grimace. So, 2. If you add all of those, that's a total score of 9/10. Ano ang Apgar score niya? 9/10. And what is the interpretation? Good, healthy condition. Okay, maaaring ito ay 1 minute after birth. Pero 5 minutes after birth, no, the same, except pink all over na siya. So, ibig sabihin, after 5 minutes, ano na yung kanyang Apgar score? 10. So, ang Apgar score niya, first minute, 9, fifth minute, 10. So, what you can see in the chart is 9, 10. Okay? Now, this one is an important screening test done for all newborns recommended by DOH. Ito yung newborn screening program. In the photo, you will see 2 children. So, yung naka-orange is actually a 7-year-old girl at yung naka-blue is already a teenage boy. Mas matanda yung boy. Pareho sila ng sakit nung pinanganak, which is congenital hypothyroidism. Pero yung naka-orange na girl, nakapagpa-newborn screening, kaya na-detect early, na-manage at hindi siya naging mentally and motor, walang retardation. Unlike the boy na hindi na newborn screening, kaya nagkaroon siya ng mental and motor retardation. So that's one example. Okay, so sa newborn screening, it's already a law, Republic Act 9288. It institutionalizes comprehensive, integrative, and sustainable national newborn screening system to ensure that all newborns in the Philippines will have the chance to undergo this test. It will spare them from mental retardation, serious health complications, or death from heritable diseases that are left untreated or undetected. The problem kasi is many of these metabolic and endocrine disorders are difficult to detect early. Kasi ang mga sakit na ito, hindi mo agad mahahalata as the baby is born because newborns from these diseases look normal. Okay? Ngayon, ano yung mga sakit? Sa ibang bansa, mas madami dito yung siniscreen na test. But in the Philippines, ito yung nasa-screen sa newborn screening, congenital hypothyroidism, congenital adrenal hyperplasia, galactosemia, phenylketonuria, G6PD deficiency, and the newest is maple syrup urine disorder. Again, these disorders are metabolic or endocrine diseases the most, and mahirap siyang ma-detect pagkapanganak, tapos nagpro-progress yung sakit pag hindi na-treat or hindi na-manage. At saan magli-lead? It could lead to mental retardation, motor retardation, or even death. Kaya pag na-screen, ma-manage agad siya, magiging maganda ang prognosis, the baby will become normal sa paglaki niya, and of course, buhay siya. So the specifics of the disease will be discussed in MCN2 portion, but what's important is you just know the specific names of the diseases under the newborn screening test. Again, ito ay mga metabolic and endocrine disorders. Paano ginagawa ang newborn screening? Kumukuha lang ng blood sample, piniprick yung sole ng foot ni baby. And then, para siyang yung scantron paper nyo, the examination paper, doon dinadrop yung blood, no? Well, ito 5 kasi noon 5 pa lang yung diseases pero ngayon 6 na siya. So dito dinedetect under laboratory, i-check kung meron si baby nung mga test na yon, no? Siniscreen siya kung meron ng mga test ng mga sakit. At kung meron, lalabas yung result, and then of course the baby will be referred para ma-manage or ma-check further kung kailangan yung kanyang condition. So that's the newborn screening, which you will also appreciate pag kayo ay nag-duty sa hospitals because you do that. We do that and we encourage them, the babies, to undergo that. If the question is, when is the best time for newborn screening to be done? As soon as possible after birth, but it's important that the baby was able to breastfeed for at least 1 to 2 days. Mas maganda yung result ng ganon kasi merong isang sakit dito na mas madaling ma-detect kung si baby ay nakadede na sa loob ng 24 to 48 hours. And that's PKU or phenylketonuria. So kung may magtatanong sa inyo, kailan best gawin yon? As early as possible after birth, but at least 1 to 2 days after. Okay? So again, take note of these diseases. Okay, that's the end of our topic on healthy newborn.